Okay, so the next shape we're going to take a look at is the oval. The oval. So next to rectangle, you're going to make another branch by writing oval, drawing a line underneath there, and underneath that, if you can draw a picture of the oval. Okay, so hopefully you have the name written down and you drew the shape. So now we're going to take a look at some features of the oval. Now, as you can see, I've drawn here on my board two shapes. One is the oval and one is the circle. And we're going to compare these two shapes. Now, we know that shapes like the square and the rectangle that we just talked about have straight sides, right? Straight lines. And when those two straight lines connect or meet, they form a corner. Well, do you see any straight lines in our oval? There are no straight lines. Just like our circle from before. A circle and an oval are two shapes that do not have straight lines. So they are completely different from our square and our rectangle. Now, because these two shapes do not have straight lines, what do you remember about the circle? Did the circle have any corners? Well, they didn't, because there are no straight lines. And in order to have a corner, you have to have those two edges meet to form that corner. Well, our oval doesn't have straight sides, so it means there are no vertices or no corners. And also, both the circle and the oval have curvy lines or a curved line. So these two shapes have a lot in common. There are no straight lines, no corners, but they both have a curved shape. So then what is the difference that you can see between a circle and an oval? How would you describe the difference? Maybe you would describe the difference as the oval being more elongated or longer in length, where we described our circle as being round. Our oval is elongated, longer in length, kind of like an egg. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go back to your tree map and I'd like you to add these pieces of information. So an oval has no edges or no sides, no straight sides. And because it has no straight sides, it means no corners. And we described this shape as being curvy, curvy. So once again, I'd like you to think about what are some shapes. So not our circle, but here our oval. What are some shapes that you might see around your house or that you know of that has an oval shape? So stop the tape and look around. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write something that you found that had this oval shape on that last line of your tree map for oval. Now I'm going to show you some shapes that I found. Well, I had mentioned earlier, right, that it is an egg shape. So definitely an egg. We can have a mirror that's in the shape of an oval. A watermelon can be in that shape, as well as a football and a balloon. So these are some things that I found. What did you find? Were they similar? So once again, I'd like you to write on that last line something that you thought of or found in your house that had that oval shape. So I'm going to add egg. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at our last shape. So next to oval, you're going to write down our last shape, which is the heart. And underneath the name, I'd like you to draw the shape of a heart. Okay, so let's look at the features of the heart. Now, our heart is different from our circle and our oval. Our circle and oval, right, the round and curvy shapes that they had no sides. It was just kind of one long curved side. If we would consider it a side, it was just one long curved side. But it didn't have any straight sides, so it didn't have any points or corners. Well, our heart is a little different because here, if I erase half of it, the heart has a distinct feature where in the middle on the top, it comes to a point. And it does that as well at the bottom. So if I was to erase half of it, right, and we're going to talk about symmetry in other lessons, but their two sides are the same. So this part here is considered a side for the heart. And it's considered a side because, as I said, in two different places, at the top and at the bottom, it stops at a point. And if we were to draw the other half of the heart, we can start at the point that it stopped and create that second side. So there are at 2 points on the heart where those kind of curved or straight-like edges or sides do meet and they touch. So that means in these two places here, they do form a corner or a vertice. And so our heart has two sides, right? So if you erase one, that's side one. And if I erase the other and redraw the second side, there's side two. So our heart has two sides and it does meet in two different points. So two sides and two corners or two vertices, points where the two sides meet. So what you're going to do in your tree map is I'd like you to add these two pieces of information under the drawing that you made of your heart. So we have two sides. And two corners or two vertices, 2 points where the sides meet. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is I like you, again, stop the video and look around or take a walk around your house and see if you can find one item that is the same shape of a heart or you can think of an item that is shaped like a heart. And when you do that, I'd like you to write that on the line underneath where you have 2 corners. Now I'm going to show you some items that I found that were heart-shaped. So we can have balloons, right, that are different shapes. And so the last time I used balloons to show you that they had an oval shape. Well, you can also have a balloon that has a heart-shaped. Strawberries, if we look at them, have heart-shaped. There can be lollipops that are heart-shaped. There can be lollipops that are round, right? They can come in many different shapes. Sunglasses can be heart-shaped. And also boxes of chocolate, right? On Valentine's Day, they're usually heart-shaped. So here are some of the items that I found that were heart-shaped. What did you find? Did you find some of the same ones as me? So what I want you to do is I want you to add one item that I mentioned that was heart-shaped. So I'm going to add 2 of my items, but remember, the one underneath 2 corners is one that you found. And on your last line, you're going to add one item that I mentioned, okay? So I'm going to say, try to grab that here. So glasses or sunglasses, right, can be heart-shaped. And a balloon can be heart-shaped. Excellent. Okay, so take a look at the tree map here. Make sure that it matches your tree map. So you're going to add the features, the sides and the corners, and other information that we talked about for these 4 shapes: the star, the rectangle, the oval, and the heart. So you can pause the video so you can make sure that you copy your information onto your tree map. Now remember, at least one item for each shape is something that you found in your house or something that you thought of that was the same shape. The second item, if there was one, was something that I had on my list. The only time you didn't have to do that was with the rectangle. But all the others should have a second item or object, but you're picking something that I had on my list. Okay, so we have covered all of our 2D shapes that we were going to look at the features for. So we're going to continue to look at these shapes, look at features, do work on these, and we're also going to be introduced to the last 4 next week. Okay, so that is all that we're going to be covering for right now. So you're done. That was your afternoon session. So remember, make sure you added that information to your tree map, because I'm going to ask you to show me this on Monday. And that'll give you credit for watching the video if you have the information that I had on the example tree map, and I see that you picked items that were on my slides that you added to your list as well. And that way you can get credit for your afternoon session. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. And I will see you guys on Monday morning. Bye.